Are you about to install Babel again? Stop what you're doing right now and listen to what I have to say for the next 30 seconds. Did you know that the human race wastes at least 3 man-years per year just waiting for Babel dependencies to install? Did you know that Babel has bugs that are completely detrimental to the health of the whole JavaScript ecosystem, ruining documentation of all our packages and forcing us to use TypeScript, which would be completely unnecessary otherwise? And did you know that Babel maintainers claim to be volunteers, yet are paying each other tens of thousands of dollars per month while failing to fix those bugs, treating us all as their inferiors, and traveling the world participating in discussion of new standards that are only needed to give them something to do? Today, all of this nonsense comes to an end. I want you to imagine that you can work with your favorite programming language without becoming hostage to software that capitalizes on you, making you the tool of its developers use to achieve their popularity and success. What if I asked you if you wanted to create and initialize new packages from professional or your own GitHub templates within seconds? Would you say yes, please? If I told you there was only a handful of folders in your Node modules directory, the exact purpose of which you knew and understood, would you feel more in control of your development process? And what if I told you that you could use the power of auto-completions with standard JS doc notation without having to sacrifice your freedom to TypeScript by locking in your entire package infrastructure into it? Would you be interested in knowing how to do that? There is an entirely new set of independent developer tools of utmost quality that brings up to date the way we make packages, as if it's 2020. Indie and freelance developers know about it, software agencies around the world have been using it, and if you learn about it, you will become one of the most productive programmers on the planet who enjoys the absolute developer experience. But before we continue, let me explain why you will never want to install Babel again. First, Babel is slowing us all down. Just to set up a new project, it's a prerogative to install Babel nowadays, because the Node.JS steering committee could not simply enable modules for years now. It takes between 15 to 25 seconds to resolve and link all 277 Babel's dependencies just for modules. If there are 10 million JavaScript developers in the world, 1/4 of them use Babel, and 1/5 of those use modules to create a package a month. These 15 seconds become 3 years every year. If Babel were a real compiler, that wouldn't be such a devastating case for humanity. Second, Babel has got over 7 million downloads per week, yet it contains one of the most horrific bugs in the history of software engineering. I'm going to reveal it to you now, but I want you to promise that as a self-respecting developer, you will never come back to Babel again for your hobby projects until these bugs have been fixed and maintainers apologize for letting us all down. It will open your eyes to the state of the whole JavaScript ecosystem, and when it does, I want you to completely trust me from then on, because I have founded a specialized Node.js development company in London called Art Deco that really knows what is the best when it comes to developing Node.js packages.
In this video, I'm gonna demonstrate the Babel bug. We'll need the modules transform and 3 dependencies, which are the CLI, core, and the transform itself. I've prepared some sample code that uses ECMA modules which have been standard since 2015. We import some Node.js API to create a backend package. We then export a default class called Babel which implements a constructor. We also declare 3 named exports called stable, transpiler, and schmable, which are annotated with JSDoc so that we can receive auto-completion hints from the IDE when using them. We then build the package into the build folder. As you can see, Babel added some of its own code and assigned the methods to the exports object. When we try to use these methods from within the package, there is no problem. We can see their descriptions and types. For example, the transpiler method accepts some source code as a string and returns a string also. The trouble starts when we publish this package. To illustrate what happens next, we need to consume the published package and install it as a dependency, which I call Babel. We'll import our methods and try to invoke them. First, we construct a new instance of the default class. There is no problem as we receive proper documentation. Next, we try to call the stable method. However, its description and version type are missing. Next, when we start typing the transpiler method, we can see some documentation. However, it appears to be incorrect as its description is wrong and the param is out of place. We can verify this by going into the source code and comparing to the original documentation. Here we can see it says software for free that breaks JSDoc, whereas in our source code the transpile method is annotated as transpile the source code. Finally, when we call the Babel method, there is no description whatsoever and there is no type of the argument either. So why does this happen? Let's visit the transpiled code. We can immediately start sensing something Babel fishy from all this stuff we didn't even ask for. However, it's not the reason. When we find our methods, we can see that none of them seem to have correct documentation. This is because each one of them has been separated from its JSDoc by the expert of the previous one. If we rearrange stuff back, we can get it working again. Now our methods receive proper annotations. Here you go, 250 dependencies, 50 million monthly downloads, 300,000 yearly budget, and this. So, do you think this is a new bug? No, it's been there for 1.5 years. I first reported the issue in August 2018. I said, Babel, are you okay? Gave a few snippets with their offense and commented, what is wrong with you people? Do you ever write documentation for your code? This is utterly ridiculous. The comments immediately suggested that I was after some kind of help. Please fill our issue template so we can actually help you. Rude issues aren't the way to get help. Where am I asking for your help? I'm reporting a very serious bug in your program that is ruining the whole JavaScript ecosystem. The next comment is saying, you're clearly frustrated, but if your goal is to vent at us and not have a useful discussion, you're not welcome. Well, am I frustrated? Because for months I had been using JSDoc to document my packages just to see it not working without being able to understand why. Am I venting because I've had enough of the tool that has wasted hours of my life, humiliated my code with some interop requires, weak maps, semicolons, whereas all I wanted simple imports? And what kind of useful discussion is there possible with maintainers who clearly think they're some kind of JavaScript gods, whereas the rest of us are stupid peasants that wouldn't even survive a day with their help? But this is just the tip of the iceberg. The same evening, I received an email on my organizational email from someone called Jamie. Hello, I'm writing to you because one of your developers behaved highly inappropriately when interacting with the Babel team. The holy Babel team. Response 1. What is wrong with you people? Response 2. Please go to hell with your shit software. These contributors have worked thousands of hours to provide software to you for free. They do this voluntarily, not of obligation. Your business is powered by open source, and without developers like these, your business would not exist. This was highly inappropriate professional communication from one of your employees, and I hope you'll ask them to examine their behavior and improve. Thank you. Oh my god. Him saying that my business would not exist if not for Babel is one of the most offensive things I've heard in my life. It's not even what he says, but his full conviction in a right to school people about their businesses. How dare he talk to me about the struggle of open source? This mode of thinking is everything that is wrong with this leftist, totalitarian, open source community that consists of a bunch of posers who draw their code of conduct but haven't got enough courage to accept professional negligence themselves and prefer to hide behind the open source label instead. Code ruins everything around me. I wonder why, Jamie, I wonder why. Is it because you built it with Babel?
Haha!
All your code of conducts are just a child's play, by the way. Let's look at the real code, the software engineering code of ethics and professional practice. Software engineers shall act consistently with the public interest, approve software only if they have a well-founded belief that it meets specifications, passes appropriate tests, and does not diminish quality of life. Well, Babel does not even have specifications, does not have a single test for JSDoc, and makes everyone's life really crap. Software engineers shall ensure that their products meet the highest professional standard possible. They have to ensure adequate testing, debugging, and review of software. Did you ensure adequate testing and review of software? No. Whom do I write an email complaining about you? I don't know. But please stop calling your script software, especially a compiler. Software engineering is a respected profession for some.
This is your industry.
Yeah, this is the worst part of my industry. I'm glad you're taking a good look at it. I have heard all about it, but that was sad. That was just really sad.
Because the first post was closed, I had to open another one. This is a polite version of the issue I opened yesterday, where people for some reason can't see clearly totally unacceptable behavior of this software. I would have to apologize for venting at the project owners, but I won't, because it is outrageous how it is possible that what happens happens, and why nobody cares or has ever cared to spot it. Perhaps people are incompetent, which is not surprising. I then give the snippets. JSDoc has to be placed above the function. Any sane person making software in JS should write JSDoc, but Babel breaks it completely and makes all efforts spent on documenting code wasted. If anyone has to apologize here, then it's the person responsible for this. So instead of somebody just taking responsibility and saying sorry already, I'm told that my tone is insulting. Babel is used by thousands of production-grade projects. So it's okay for Babel to insult all of us by breaking JSDoc and just disrespecting our profession, but not bothering with a test for it. But when I call somebody incompetent, when they clearly are, I'm being insulting. Then 8 people also put a heart on this comment and never actually bothered to fix the issue in the next 1.5 years. This is what happens when people lose touch with reality because of their popularity. I'm also told that it was because the Babel was still in beta, but as you can see, Babel is not in beta for a long time right now. Then this person reports that he's still seeing it. Another person says that he made an effort to make annotations for his colleagues available via JSDoc. However, it wasn't working because of Babel. So what did he have to do? He had to change to TypeScript. So thank you very much, Babel, for just jeopardizing the whole thing. So let me just show you what Babel maintainers have been busying themselves with. This is a PR by Henry Zhu called import type for TS, which apparently addresses a new feature of TypeScript that allows to import a type. It has been immediately reviewed for some advanced edge cases and approved by 3 Babel maintainers: Justin Ridgewell, Nicola Ribaudo, and Existentialism, the first 3 people to put a heart on the comment that said that breaking JS is actually unexpected behavior. So make your own judgments whether these people are your real leaders or double-crossers that care for corporate TypeScript more than they care for JavaScript, despite getting paid by the community to travel the world, participating in conferences and events.
In the next part, I'll show you how Microsoft has been taking advantage of your trust by keeping a bug in their IDE that also breaks good old JS doc. To be the first one to watch it, hit the like button and subscribe. By the end, you'll see JS open source for what it really is, a scene for a bunch of big-headed amateurs who edit issue because they're so scared to accept that their software is of poor quality, and the power tool for corporations to dominate the market and force their technology upon us. I'm Ned, and my goal is to help young developers to earn money from their packages on the new package market Lars.io. In the coming weeks and months, I'll be showing you how to start your software shop to monetize your coding skills and provide you with a mechanism to protect your intellectual property. It's very important to stay open to open source alternatives.